What's going on there, gamers and game heads and everyone in between? Y'all already know the deal because y'all already know the spiel. And just in case you don't, my forehead is glistening, so I hope you're listening because we're here to talk about predatory esports organizations. And this is something y'all voted for on Twitter, so let's go ahead and get into it. How do you avoid getting taken advantage of by a predatory esports organization? Easy. Read the contract. Take said contract to a lawyer, someone who gets paid to look through all the legalese and make sure that nothing can come back and bite you in the ass in hindsight. I'm telling you to do this not because I want to sit here and just harp on the legalese and harp on the fact that you need to get someone who's actually in your corner to make sure that you are reading this right. I'm saying this because I'm seeing it time and time again. People are like, ooh, COVID sucks. I don't have money right now. This must be easy money. And just signing the first thing that comes across the table and just jumping in completely blind, only to get blindsided by the organization that is asking way too much for what they're willing to give. That being said, you may be saying, well, what do they ask for? In some cases, some of these organizations will ask for 10%, 15%, upwards to 20%, if not more. And they'll do you dirty because they'll double dip into your funds, because not only will they sit here and say, hey, we want 15%. And you may be saying, all right, well, 15% of my Twitch donations really isn't too terrible, right? But if they have a content creation stipulation, anything you get from your YouTube, your Twitch, whether it be donations, bits, subscribers, no, they all that. 15% all that. Meanwhile, they may be paying you in a baseline exposure. Yes, the E word. I've seen some of these contracts where they ask for 10% and they're going to pay you in exposure. I've seen some of these folks who are willing to take 10% from you and then pay you an unlivable wage, like $200, maybe $300 a month. And in some cases, as we've seen with BDG Esports, $60 a month. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? $60 a month? Have you seen? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. It's ridiculous. So what some of these organizations are willing to shill out and say, yep, this is a fair and legally binding contract. Fair, right? So you really need to look at these because you need to make sure if you're giving up 10, 15, 20%, you need to make sure whatever you're giving up can be offset and equal in either be equaled and met by whatever sponsor is sponsoring you and asking for that, whether it be through paying room and board, getting you to multiple events per year, whether getting you equipment, whether it's controllers, whether it's headsets, whether it's actual gear, things that not something that's cosmetic like a t-shirt or a snapback. No, I mean something that can genuinely help you grow your stream, whether it's a better capture card, drop you a care package that has a new webcam, has, a camcorder, something that can allow you to take your content creation to the next level. Whether it's giving you fucking access to certain things that are within the damn industry. Yes, these are things that are very important. And it's okay if they're like, hey, do you have any questions? Ask these questions. It's like, hey, I understand that, TwitchCon is coming up. Is there a way that we can facilitate and broker me going to insert con here when cons come back? Things like that. You need to ask these questions because you need to understand that if you're giving up 10% of your brand, because that's a lot, because they're already going to have you put their logo over here. They're going to have you put all of their information in the description. They're going to put all of their social media stuff all in your face on your Twitch banners. They're going to sit here and they're going to have your face marketed however they want. And not only that, you have to understand the audience that you had before you got sponsored is going to be subject to seeing everything your sponsor wants them to see. Whether you stand by it or not is irrelevant, because once your name goes on the contract, anything that they want you to do within the confines of that contract, you are now legally obligated to do. Sucks to suck, but sometimes it just sucks. But moving past that, reeling back in, getting back on the less beaten path here, we can get back on topic. A lot of times when you see some of these predatory esports organizations, as I said, they'll pay you in exposure. Anybody who says they're paying you in exposure, cut it off. Get rid of it. Do not sign anything where the deal is exposure. Tell them to kick rocks. It's almost never worth it, especially if they're asking for something off the top. Because let's face it, folks, this 16 by 9 box that we work in here, these dimensions here, that's prime real estate. And if your brand is going to represent another brand, you need to make sure that this brand is something that you are willing to stand behind and really put your chest and your faith into. Because as we've seen with a lot of these predatory esports organizations, once you sign the paper and you get indoctrinated into there, they don't even talk to you. The very next time you might hear from someone who's a staff or rep is when your contract is up for renegotiation and they don't want you anymore. Meanwhile, they've done taking money, they've done taking winnings, and some of you are saying, winnings? Hold up, player, what are you talking about? Yeah, remember when I said 10%? If you're a tournament player, guess what? You win a $50,000 event, you win a $45,000 event because they're taking $5K off the top, which is fucked up. Now, you may be saying, yeah, that is kind of fucked up. Damn. Well, what else are they taking? Well, we already talked about the other subsidiary sponsorships that may come through said sponsor. And if we haven't, well, let me go ahead and address that now. Let's say I'm your sponsor, and let's just say we're Buffalo Esports, whatever. Buffalo Controllers, Buffalo Esports, that's who we are. And I make a deal with Astro, and let's say Kroger. I make a deal with Kroger. I make a deal with Astro, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, we made a deal. Look at all these content creators I have. Look at all these eyes. Wouldn't it be great, Kroger? Wouldn't it be great, Astro, if all these eyes were on your products? And they'd be like, yes, it would. And you can see this with YouTube talent agencies as well. They may make a behind the scenes deal with each other where Astro pays me money, Kroger pays me money, Buffalo Esports, and then I give you a promo code. And you put the promo code everywhere. You shill it, you're throwing it at the moon, you're throwing it at the sun, you're throwing it in in-game chats, you're throwing it in the video descriptions, you're throwing it on Twitter, you're slinging that pack all over Twitch. You're doing your due diligence to make sure that promo code is being used. And as it's being used, I already got paid up front for all of these codes. But now I'm taking that 10, 15, 25%, whatever percent that I was giving you, that you're giving to me, I'm also taking that percentage of your promo code earnings. So I'm double dipping with Astro, and I'm double dipping with Kroger, and I'm double dipping with every other streamer who I was using to get this deal orchestrated in the first place. At some point, your company has to be able to give back to the people they're sponsoring. But in a lot of cases, as you've seen, they do nothing. They sit on their haunches. They sit in the back, and they just hope that you don't ask them for nothing, because that is their way. Now you may be saying, all right, well, is there any other way that I can actually lessen the blow? Is there any way that I can see if these organizations are predatory? As I said, ask questions, and if you can't ask questions, you need to get out of there. If they don't want to be transparent, honest, fast, fluid, and timely, and punctual, and all these other things that you would come with a regular day job, you need to get out of there. You need to run for the hills. Another thing that you need to be on the lookout for is if you're doing research for this company, you find out that there's a lot of scummy people who are involved within the organization, or you find out there's been some scandals and you need to ask around, then you need to go ahead and ask around. You need to make sure, are these people no longer here? Have these issues been dealt with? Is this an organization that is for the better? Is this an organization that is a good reflection on your own personal mission statement and morals? Is this something that you really want to stand behind? And understand that money can be blinding, especially during COVID-19. And like I said, I understand getting a lawyer may not be the most fiscally responsible thing to do right now, because a lot of us are feeling the pinch because of aforementioned COVID-19. But you guys really need to actually get the groundwork on this. You really do need to research these organizations, because a lot of these organizations have a dirty pile of laundry that's been following them. And sometimes, 9 times out of 10, just a couple of Google searches and you'll find out something. You go, oh, that's how they do business? Oh, they're working with that person? That's not good. Especially when you find out that some of these organizations, when it comes to people who have the clout to punch back, the Sonic Foxes, or, the James Chens, or, the Shrouds and the Ninjas of the world, people who, if you do them wrong, they can actually fight the org back, and their audience is big enough to where they can cannibalize that org and just ruin their PR, then yes, you will notice that a lot of those organizations will do everything possible to make sure that those people are taken care of. Every T will be crossed, every I will be dotted. They will make sure everything is working 100% graciously all the time. But then their lower echelon people and their, lower tiered viewership people, they'll just treat them like slaves, like they don't even matter, like their life is irrelevant. And you'll be able to find a lot of this information pretty easily when you see how that, like, oh, this person does this, that, and the other thing. But this person doesn't do jack diddly dog shit, but for some reason they're always on the page. You gotta notice these things. In some cases, when you're looking at these contracts, you need to understand, do you have content right now that benefits from anything that's in here? Do you plan on doing a charity event, a tournament? Do you plan on doing a stream? If I ask them if like, hey, if I run an event, would you guys be able to help in this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way? Is that viable? And if they say that these things are things that they can't do for you, then you don't need to be there. 9 times out of 10, it's just as simple as asking questions. But we can talk more about this in detail in the comment section below. I've been your boy Kaiser, and y'all have a good set of games and an even better day. I'm out of here. Cheers.